Hello to everybody watching, listening, and welcome back to Mechabellum. This is a replay that was sent to me by Mualani, aka Codifly, and it's only fitting that we have the man in chat here with us right now. So, hello there, Cody. You want to tell us something about the game?
Yeah, I have. I wasn't really a fan of any starts here. I was leaning towards Missile Specialist, but then I ran out of time and ended up with a pretty weird pack.
This is going to be my first time actually seeing the Hound in action in a game that, I can click on. I've not yet played any games on the new patch so far. I intend to change that a few minutes from now. But, and Baller has invited us to matchmaking. Unfortunately, not today. I'm going to quickly write him off. I'm currently in other. I currently have another engagement.
Yeah, my current impression of the Hound is that it's basically a cheaper sledgehammer. And it does have a very nice utility of removing fire and acid.
And it also has the ability to make more fire itself, which is kind of ironic.
Yeah.
Like, that is not an ability that I would have assumed this thing would have, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, a 100 goes to me, but hey, it does it.
So now, basically, access to having fire on the board is 400, instead of having to get well, this is basically an entire Vulcan worth. And even if you get a Stormcaller, it costs... Does it still cost you 50 for the unlock? I'm actually not sure. Do Stormcallers still cost 50 unlock cost?
No, I don't think they do.
Okay, so if it doesn't, and fire is still 350, it would still, like, if you go the Stormcaller route, it would still cost you around, what is that then, 550. So the cost of fire is cheaper than ever, but finally we have some decent counterplay.
Yeah, like, I haven't seen fire in play yet from these guys, but I think it produces a bit less fire than a Stormcaller or a Vulcan would.
Yeah. I had to turn the game down a little bit so we can hear you, but that shouldn't be much of a problem.
So yeah, this game I started with Sledgehammer, and this discount Sledgehammer never fun having two of the same units, but hey,
yeah.
that happens when the timer runs out. And since I rolled a Speed Specialist, I deployed into an aggro positioning, hoping to fight for the tower and hopefully play some carry sledge.
That was the initial plan.
Yeah.
And then everything descended into madness, right?
Oh, absolutely, and you will see the moment it does, and you will understand how and why it happened. Yeah, I mean, I'm not too much of a fan of a carry sledge, but you know, the start played out that way, so it kind of pushed me very hard in that direction, and I was like, okay, yeah, sure.
So we do take a guard, which I think is very important, because if this was Mambo you were facing, you could bet that there'd be missiles here and here now.
Yeah, I mean, people do it sometimes. Not only Mambo. I don't recall playing how Mambo plays a lot, but what I can tell you is that in our last 10 matches, me against Mambo, I'm 10-0.
Yeah. I mean, he can be very good if he tries, and if he doesn't get angry. That is my take, but I haven't played him in a while.
Like, the best part is I'm not actually that much better than him. Like, I'm 50 MMR higher than him. That's basically one of us having a good or a bad day, and we are the same MMR.
Probably. I've seen, or at least supposedly seen, him be up to 2k, and he kinda just, at one point, actually waltzed all over Steel Sane. I don't know what bad day Steel Sane had, but, like, if Mambo puts his mind to it, he can be really, really freaking good.
Yeah, and then sometimes he can play fort versus fort, and be mad that he is playing Elite Specialist because now he has to buy expensive forts, right? Which
I find that as well. The moment I get angry in this game, my skill level just goes.
Yeah, and to extent that of course holds, but then you remember, wait, in fort versus fort, levels are super important, and I don't have to pay for the elite button. And then later on, there was a melter drop, and he picks it up, right? Makes sense. and then presses range naturally, and then takes like half a minute to consider whether he wants to take a multi-melter into forts, and you can presume that your opponent is also gonna take melters because both players
Yeah.
are taking forts. How is that even a consideration? But take a look at this unit drop.
All right, we are here. We have the fort on one side and the wasp on the other side, but so far both players pick up fort. Makes sense. Your opponent is giant specialist if he wants to play forts, because I think at the moment, if I were to just look at this board, I'd say forts are a pretty solid choice. We are playing against sledges. We have hounds, which should also be kinda just fortress food. Oh, but instead he opts for the Vulcan.
Yeah, the Vulcan is a little bit curious, for sure. I'm not too big of a fan of it, but then again, it's having a Vulcan is always good. He's a giant spec, so he's not paying for the unlock cost. Like, not necessarily a fan of it, but not really a bad call either.
I think it's also good because he has so many fangs, and I think fangs are just even more vulnerable to fire than just baseline crawlers, because they just are so easy to clump up, even easier than like crawlers, and they have no underground or anything like that. So I think it may even be down to that, but I could easily be wrong on that subject. That said, you broke through the Vulcan very easily, and now your Wasps get to farm on the opponent's Wasps.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Level 3 Wasps against a level 1 Vulcan. It's an absolute slaughter, and then they take the tower, and then they get the level, and fun times.
Yeah, level 4 on round 4. That's nice.
And it was, at this point, I realized I'm being flanked by sledges, and those sledges are not new, by the way.
Yeah. Those are not new. They spawned in this round, spawned in last round, and were active this round. I see that someone's fangs are most definitely leveling. I mean, they're not gonna win here, but they can basically kill almost all the wasps. That was a lot of XP on a unit that doesn't matter in the slightest.
Yeah, absolutely. There's Stormcallers, there's sledges, there's hounds, and what are Frank's gonna do against those?
Well, we will see what happens next. So we have efficient light unit versus crawler spawning.
And here, the Wasp Madness kinda starts.
The Wasp Madness starts, I see. We are double dropping Wasps. A move that would otherwise be considered losing the game on purpose. At least when you're facing a giant specialist that you do not for absolute certainty know that he doesn't have access to anti-air fortresses.
Yeah, that's a very good consideration actually. Maybe not committing into Wasps if you don't know that your opponent doesn't have a barrage.
Like if you see the opponent's fortress and he doesn't have it, I think you're kinda fine. But Fang Fort is probably still going to whoop you, unless you have like Splash Wasps and can throw Elite on him. But other than that, it's a big gamble.
And even so, Mustangs do exist.
Yeah. Also, Fort Stang is not to be snuffed at either.
Yeah, okay, this Scorching Fire, it feels like a bit of a misread. I don't think, I mean, it will kill sledges, that's for sure, and the sledges are level 2, so it's not a terrible of a play in itself, but then again, those sledges are not really the threat here, right?
No. I'd say those sledges, and especially the crawlers coming in right behind them, are the actual threat in this round, but I don't really think they're going to be coming in and do much of anything, because the Vulcans will just die before they get to do anything. In fact, that tower's going to die before the crawlers get to do anything. And now those Stormcrawlers are having a good time shooting at all the chaff.
Remember how level 3 Wasps were sufficient to break through last round? Well, now they're level 4!
That said, the opponent can actually match that right now.
Yeah, and do notice that this round a set of Wasps warped in onto his flank, so I can use my Wasps, my level 1 Wasps, to target his high level Wasp pack, and also level off of them.
Yeah,